Sometimes it's necessary to give a gaming series a kick square in the pants to move it in a different direction, or to make it relevant to a new audience of gamers. I'm James from Games Radar, and in this video we'll raid tombs, fight shadow lords, and befriend a guy with no arms to bring you the best reboots in gaming. Tomb Raider. There's a lot to love about Lara Croft's original adventures, and they remain the raiders of choice if you value puzzles, skill-based platforming, and polygons you could cut yourself on. Crystal Dynamics were handed the keys to the series after the disastrous Angel of Darkness, and after an excellent reboot trilogy, they repeated the trick in 2013 with their second reinvention of Lara Croft. Tomb Raider is a more story and spectacle-focused affair, and one that succeeded in revitalising a gaming icon who is in danger of being left behind. DMC, Devil May Cry. Ninja Theory's divisive reboot cast Dante as a snarling whelp with a fancy new hairdo, and coupled with the halved frame rate, this was enough to get the internet up in arms. Yeah, that's right, we liked it. In truth, the combat isn't as deep as the system in DMC 4, but this is still a fine action game with a great story, a sense of humour, and some of the most visually impressive environments we've seen. Plus, the definitive edition doubles the frame rate and adds a raft of new modes. Strider. While it didn't go on to spawn a new series of Strider titles, the 2014 reboot is a cracking one-and-done platformer, and a great lesson in how to refresh an old game for a modern audience. Retelling the central story of a high-tech ninja tasked with defeating a powerful director, Strider 2014 is inspired by modern trends as much as it is by the past, adding a Metroidvania-style open world that gradually unlocks as you acquire new abilities. Rayman Origins. Rayman was one of the pillars the mighty Ubisoft was built on, but before Origins arrived back in 2011, the jolly French hero seemed doomed to an early retirement. For the longest time, the only Rayman games around were those cute, annoying, God please make them stop rabid spin-offs, but with Origins he put them firmly in their place. The UbiArt framework reinvigorated the 2D aesthetic, and its winning level design, stage variety, and playful sense of humour rescued Rayman from obscurity. XCOM, Enemy Unknown. This faithful reboot of the beloved XCOM series was gratefully received on the Xbox 360 back in 2012. Unlike its middling third-person shooter spin-off The Bureau, Enemy Unknown is the real deal. A turn-based strategy of enormous depth and replayability. See, Enemy Unknown is different each time you play thanks to procedural events that happen as you scan the globe for alien activity, and the random pool of soldiers that you soon grow attached to. Lose a precious team member and they're gone forever, leaving just a memorial message and a hole in your heart. Castlevania, Lord of Shadows. There had been 3D Castlevanias before, of course, but none had captured the gothic grandeur of the side-scrolling games, which had reached a crescendo with the epic Symphony of the Night. This scrumptious action-adventure turns back the clock to before Dracula even existed, with developer Mercury Steam pulling out all the stops to create a visually stunning adventure with an atmosphere reminiscent of Konami's best. Ninja Gaiden. NES games weren't exactly known for their ultra-violence, so that's one way the Ninja Gaiden reboot differentiates itself from the 8-bit series. The other is its greatly expanded combat system, which adds an assortment of weapon types, combo attacks, and special abilities to Ryo Hayabusa's arsenal. Despite this, the acrobatic platforming of the NES originals remains largely intact, bolstered with new moves that make the most of the third dimension. Oh, and it's super hard, requiring a huge amount of skill if you're to see the story through to its conclusion. Mortal Kombat. With almost the entire cast having been wiped out in Armageddon, it was time for a new beginning when 2011's Mortal Kombat rolled around. After a telepathic message, don't ask, we're returned to the first Mortal Kombat tournament, to a time when all of the combatants were still alive, or still human. And in that spirit, the side-on fighting was newly simplified as well. It's both more approachable and much gorier than previous games, thanks to the excruciating X-ray moves like this. Killer Instinct. Rare's Killer Instinct was so tied up with the SNES and Nintendo 64 that it was a welcome surprise to learn of a reboot on Xbox One. The previous games fell somewhere in between Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, boasting the supernatural combatants of the former, but with the latter's more family-friendly aesthetic. All of which combined to make Killer Instinct 2013 a generous free-to-play fighter with an active development process that sees it improve with each new season. Shadow Warrior. Doubling down on the fast-paced action, absurd ultra-violence, and groan-worthy jokes found in the original game, Shadow Warrior switches its focus to Lo Wang's katana, a weapon which wasn't much use in the 1997 game unless you ran out of ammo. You still get some high-powered guns to use, but your sword is the star of the show here, because it allows Wangs to carve his otherworldly foes into tiny bits. And with that, we've wrapped up our list of gaming's greatest reboots. Let us know your favourite reboots in the comments below, check out more videos from us by clicking on the boxes to the left, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews and features right here on Games Radar Plus.